Hello guys, today I'll be replacing AC compressor on my 2003 Toyota 4Runner V8 4.7, and I'll show you exactly what you'll need to do to get to the AC compressor and unbolt it, put the new one on, and how I'm gonna do that. So let's get to it. First thing you'll need to do is take your serpentine belt off, and this is the pulley that keeps the tension in your serpentine belt. Grab the 14mm, release the tension, and remove the serpentine belt. This is your AC compressor. Once you remove the serpentine belt, it's going to be free. There are going to be 3 bolts. It's challenging to get to it from this way. So I'll be jacking up my car, taking off my wheel, and getting to the AC compressor from the side. I'll be able to remove 3 bolts and remove the compressor completely. Let's release the tension. Great. We got the belt off. Slide it off the pulleys. And bam, you have it off. Next thing up, we're gonna loosen up the driver's side front wheel, jack up the car, take the wheel off, and we'll have access to the AC compressors from the side. 21mm. Now let's jack up the car. Take this little cover off, and you'll have access to all 3 bolts. Should come off fairly easy. Great. So your next step will be to undo these 2 12mm bolts, get this wiring harness out of the way. Then you'll have 1 bolt all the way back there. Then your next bolt is this one, and your last one is in the very bottom. Now I'm able to move this wiring harness out of the way, and next thing I'm going to do is get both of these AC lines unbolted from the compressor, and then I'll do the compressor. I'll spray these AC lines with a penetrating oil. These bolts broke loose fairly easy. Second one. And I also got a new O-rings for these AC lines. There is a bracket up in the front that holds this AC pipe to the frame, and I'm gonna undo that bracket. It'll help me slide this AC line out. Because if you don't do that, you won't be able to move this line back and forth, and it's just gonna be a pain in the butt to get it out of the AC compressor. Yes, great. Once you're gonna undo that bracket for this big AC line, you'll just be able to set it aside. Next thing is this top bolt, 14mm. Top one. And before I'm gonna continue any further, I'm gonna undo this wiring harness. Get that disconnected. It comes off super easy. Now the bottom bolt. It is kind of pain in the butt to get to. Got it. This will be your bottom one, and the back bolt will be your last one. This will be your back bolt. It's the shortest one. Now you should be able to just wiggle this thing out of there. I don't think anything else is holding it, so just wiggle it around. I guess there's a bottom bracket, and it needs to be unscrewed as well. Yep. Perfect. And this should come right out through here. This is my old AC compressor. I guess it kind of hangs there on this little metal piece. so it helps you. Once you hang it, you can just move it around and guide the rest of the bolts in. So yeah, I don't know if you guys see this little bracket. I had to undo this bracket on the bottom. There's a nut, just kind of loosen it up and swing it forward, and that helped it a lot to remove the compressor out of there. Alright guys, now I'm ready to install new compressor on there, and I'll just kind of go in reverse. Hang it on there. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna guide this back bolt in, then the bottom one, then the top. It just works out better that way. I'll put new fittings on my AC lines, bolt it on there, and I'm good to go. Lord willing, everything will be working. I'll remove old O-rings off the AC lines and put new ones. It is pain in the butt to be removing these O-rings. Yep, that's it. I'll kind of lube it up a little bit with whatever. Perfect. Now the small one. Perfect. Let's start installing this thing. Right. All right. Whew, this thing is heavy. I'll thread top bolt in first. Once you get the top bolt in, compressor will be kind of pivoting left and right, so you'll have no problem lining up your bottom one in. Well, you should have easier time. Once you get the top and the bottom, now the very back. And the back should line up fairly easy because you already have two bolts. Now torquing down to good and tight. Right now I'm going to be putting serpentine belt back on. I put the serpentine belt back on. Next thing is to install AC lines back. I'll plug this thing in. Perfect. Now the AC line. I'll start with the big one. Like I said, I put new O-ring on it. Bam, snap back on. Now the 10mm nuts goes on. Don't want to over tighten it. Now the second line, make sure you have the O-ring on there. 10mm nut. Perfect. Now let's put this harness back on that we moved out of the way. Now the ground wire. There's another top bracket right here. I took this 10mm bolt out of there. I'm gonna go and replace it back in. Last thing left to do is this ground wire. Make sure to double check every bolt now. Make sure nothing's loose, and after that we're gonna start the car, make sure everything is rotating, the belt is good, and then I'll put the guard on here, put my wheel on, and call it a day. Now let's start the car and see if everything works. Looks like the belt is working good, fan is working. Yep, I say that's good. The belt is good, everything else is good. I'll put this guard back on. Done deal. Let's reinstall the wheel. Guys, thanks for watching this video. I really hope it was helpful. Subscribe to my channel, comment, share, like. I would appreciate all the support. Till next time.